Rural livelihood, occupations and professions in rural areas. It was in the beginning of the 20th century that Mahatma Gandhi said, "The soul of India lives in its villages." The Indian census of 2011 states that 68.84% of Indians live in 6,38,596 villages. The people living in rural areas are involved in different forms of activities that help them earn their livelihood to meet the needs of families in terms of food, shelter, and other social requirements. On the basis of the nature of work done by the people, occupations can be classified in three categories. Primary occupations, that is, those jobs related to land such as agriculture and related activities, animal husbandry. Secondary occupations, that is, those jobs in which natural products are changed into other forms through ways of manufacturing such as industries. Number 3, tertiary occupations, that is, those jobs that provide services such as banking, transport, and communication, etc. Occupations and professions in rural areas. The villages of India are mostly involved in their basic occupation, that is, agriculture. Though earlier there used to be primitive methods of carrying on this process of cultivation, but nowadays, due to innovative methods, farmers are able to grow wheat, rice, lentils, vegetables, fruits, and many other crops in order to meet the challenging task of feeding their families and the nation. Based on the area of land, the farmers have been classified into 4 categories. Number 1, landless farmers. These are the farmers who do not possess any land of their own. They work on land of other farmers on a daily wage basis. Most of them are living in poverty and misery.
About 40% of families living in villages are landless farmers or marginal farmers. Marginal farmers own less than 1 hectare of land and have bare subsistence level of income. Landless farmers often agree to work at very low wages due to lack of work opportunities. For some months, which come in off season of agriculture, these farmers sit idle or search for outside work. Landless women laborers are the poorest farmers. They do low paid jobs. They are unable to do much physical work. They also have to do all household work.
Number 2, small farmers. These are farmers having less than 2 hectares of agricultural land. They are mostly subsistence farmers. These farmers mostly leave their lands after plowing until harvesting season and go to the cities to do manual work and earn money to add to the family's total income. Some small farmers have to sell their produce to the money lenders in order to pay their debts. Since farming is a seasonal occupation, the small farmers and landless laborers are often forced to borrow money at high interest rates when they have very little or no work to do. Thus, they are quite often in a state of rural indebtedness. Rural indebtedness refers to the state of existence in which farmers get trapped in the vicious cycle of poverty and debt. Landless laborers and small farmers often fall victim to the rural indebtedness and commit suicide. Crop failure is another cause for the suicide in many parts of the country, as the farmers find it difficult to pay back loans taken to grow crops. Number 3, middle or medium farmers. These are the farmers with the land area between
4 hectares to 10 hectares.
They mostly use common agricultural implements for cultivation and harvesting. However, some hire tractors and threshers for planting and harvesting. Number 4, large farmers. These are farmers with land area more than
10 hectares.
Most of the farmers employ other landless farmers and pay them in cash or kind for cultivation and harvesting. These farmers use modern agricultural implements such as the tractor, harvester, thresher, etc. These farmers are wealthy and live a luxurious life. Their farming is mostly a commercial farming. Some of these farmers also carry out other activities like trading and owning mills and shops as well. Community development projects. Our government launched the Community Development Program in 1952 with the aim of developing the villages and improving agricultural production. The farmers were provided with the latest technology. Branches of many banks have been opened in villages to provide loans on easy terms to the farmers and other residents of the village. In certain backward areas, our government gave land to landless laborers to make them self-reliant. In the villages, we can find the dairy farms, where animals such as cows, buffaloes, and goats are reared for milk. The milk is sold in villages as well as in cities. Cooperative societies collects milk from villages and send it to cities for sale after necessary pasteurization and packaging processes. Besides these, cooperative societies also provide loans to the villagers and help them to produce and sell butter, ghee, and other dairy products. Hence, dairying is another option of livelihood available to rural people, especially women and the landless farmers. For example, the villagers in Gujarat have formed large dairy cooperatives. Some farmers are engaged in poultry farming business. They rear hens in farmhouses in order to supplement their income. In the evenings, they supply eggs, meat, and chicken to the nearby markets and towns. Fisheries are also seen in the village reservoirs. While the men catch fish, the women take them in baskets to the nearby villages for sale. Some enterprising men even take the catch to the towns and sell it directly to the customers or even hotels and thus obtain a better price. Crafts and trade. Some people in the village are also engaged in crafts. They are engaged in making baskets, pots, carpets, bricks, etc. Besides this, some villagers work as barbers, cobblers, tailors, goldsmiths, blacksmiths, carpenters, sellers of betel leaves or pan. Most families have followed these occupations over generations. Some village women work in the village dispensaries and primary schools as nurses or teachers. Some young men have become mechanics and repair cycles. Some of them are shopkeepers selling groceries, seeds, fertilizers, stationery, etc. They even sell medicines. Some women, after working in the fields, can be seen doing fulkari work, the traditional craft. They make suits, saris, bed sheets in vibrant colors and hues. There is a great demand for these ethnic wears in big towns. This is a fine example of how the cottage industry has become a source of income for many people. Cottage industries are run from one's home or a small space in which often traditional craftsmen produce goods of day-to-day use by using simple tools with the help of family members. It does not require big investments. Examples: furniture, handicraft, leaf plates, beads, ropes, etc. Other occupations: basket weaving, pottery making, collection of tendu leaves, collection of honey and herbs from the forests and their sale to the traders is a source of additional income for some of the villagers. Some people also excel in metalworks and designing statues of wood and stones. A few people make leather shoes called juttis. To encourage the rural crafts, the government provides loans and grants to craftsmen through banks. They now have a chance to earn more money and lead a decent standard of life. Thus, In a village, both farming and non-farming activities form a source of income. The government further introduced the villages to the wider economic and political world outside the village via travel, work, education, and television. Involvement of government in rural upliftment has led to greater opportunities for village people to earn their livelihood. Thousands of people leave their villages in search of jobs and migrate to the nearby towns and cities. Some even migrate to the other countries in search of better job opportunities. They add to the pool of the human resources of those countries and earn valuable foreign currency for their country. This earning not only adds to their income but also transforms their lifestyle.